If you're looking for the best folding lightweight city e-bike, I guess the search might be over. PVY Libon is here to show you that a lot of power and up to 170-mile range can actually fit within just 16 kilograms of weight. Is that right? Let's inspect.
Hey everybody! Great to meet you. I'm Michael. On the channel we inspect a lot of cool and interesting tech. And that's a pretty interesting electric bike made by PVY, and they promise it's something like a revolutionary product because it has close to 20 ampere-hour battery delivering up to 260 kilometer range. I mean, can you believe that? Well, I'm here to expose all the strengths and all the alarming things, and at the same time have a lot of fun with you while riding, so let's go for it!
Perhaps you already can guess that PVY's Libon is very similar to Atto's A20 Air series, as well as a few similarly sized and packed urban e-bikes. But PVY seem to pack everything into a very reasonable price and give you so many extra perks that it's hard to believe. And don't worry, I'm not here for the marketing stuff. We want to see how and whether at all these advertised features are present and reliable. Because if they are, Libon might be one of the best 2024 city e-bikes. Unboxing is something I usually briefly cover because it's important to see how quickly you can get to a fully assembled working product, such as the one from the ads. I love the fact that there are handles on the sides. It's luckily a not too heavy box, but the start is not great because the top cover of the cardboard kind of fell apart. I'm not sure if it's because of the kind of glue used or it has been wet. Doesn't really matter because you probably won't need the box at all. Here's something I don't often say, but I feel that PVY could have done a better job with securing the bike inside the box. If you have ever owned a Chinese-made e-bike, you should remember that putting everything together takes a long time. Mounting the wheels and the fenders, installing the handlebars and stuff, well, PVY Libon arrives like 95% pre-assembled. Just put the pedals and you're kind of ready to ride. Speaking of the pedals, finally a model that doesn't use folding pedals. Yes, such a feature might be a nice to have, but whatever folds comes with compromised structure and is not as reliable as the alternatives used here. Plus, they're a perfect match to the gorgeous design. If you live outside Europe and in your country there are no low restrictions, PVY are going to ship you this throttle add-on, which has to be installed in the area of the right handle. The procedure is going to involve removing the original handle, loosening the brake lever, putting the throttle and the modified short handle, and tightening everything back. The procedure takes no more than 10 minutes. So, the design. This grey color with the silver accent and the look of the wheels and the tires, I think it's awesome. It's one of these rare cases where the final product looks better when you see it, as opposed to exploring the product photos. And while design is apparently attractive enough, we need to carefully analyze the construction. To me, a really important fact is that the frame comes with a 10-year warranty according to the terms on PVY's website. From what I can see and say, the frame should last long because it is similar to most designs that have been used with the popular lately fat tire folding bikes. There are apparently 3 grades of folding here so that you can make the bike as compact as possible. And there are 2 independent batteries. You can obviously take the battery inside the frame out and make the bike even lighter. The one connected to the seat you're going to need anyway. I think we can now change the depth of the research and cover the more advanced technical specs, and then we will of course make sure to explain how this relates to the real-life experience. Total battery capacity here is above 20 ampere-hours. The motor has power of 250 watts and around 50 Nm of torque. Instead of a chain, the bike is equipped with a carbon belt drive, maximum speed with pedal assistance is up to 25 km/h, there's a torque sensor for more realistic pedaling experience, 20-inch tires with 2.5-inch width, there's an advanced LED controller, and the bike weighs just 16 kilograms. For real, super lightweight, easy to carry, and it weighs 16.5 kilograms, well technically a bit more if you have the second battery, which would be located inside here. And I say for real because kind of a year ago when Atto Air was released, and that's another brand and model which is very similar to this one, they were promising 18 kilograms of weight and it turned out to weigh
more. I think this is one of the risks with Chinese e-bikes, that they tell you a lot about the specifications, but not always disclosing absolutely everything about those, sometimes masking the inconvenient facts. And luckily, I'm kind of here to expose such, if available. Now, given the construction, the other remark I would have, I'd love to have a handle over here so that I can easily lift the bike up, because otherwise I have to do this movement and it's not that easy, comfortable or great. Concerning the color choice and everything, I would strongly recommend the silver variation because I think it looks stunning. There are two very important topics I'd like to address now, and the first one is related to the carbon belt over here, which means yes, lightweight construction, lack of stains on your trousers, and well, probably durability, lack of the necessity to maintain the whole thing. But if you live in hilly areas where you know that you're gonna climb, a lot of uphills, that's probably not the best solution. Search for something which has a derailleur. Second thing is my concern about the motor. I'm working on a review of this e-bike for almost 2 months now. The first motor that I got after 10 kilometers of intensive uphill climbing was no longer detecting the speeds, which kind of meant that probably it was overheating or something else not quite right. Well, luckily, I got a replacement for the motor and the controller both, with PVY claiming that these new revisions should be fixing the trouble. Well, guess what? I encountered the very same behavior, and unfortunately, this made me test even further. So after close to 40 minutes going up hills, I managed to overheat the motor, error 8, and it was no longer functional. After probably 5 minutes cooling down, everything was back to normal. But keep in mind that if you're a heavy person, and I weigh with a backpack around 93, 94 kilograms, you might end up with the very same condition. And with one motor, I would think, okay, this could be a coincidence, but with the second set of a motor and a controller, maybe there's something not quite right with this Xiangxing, no, what? Xiangdeng, okay, I'll mark it here in the video. There might be something not quite right with this electric motor. It has 50 Newton meters of torque, very pleasant acceleration. In a matter of fact, if you want to learn more about the bike, the acceleration levels, the battery range, and everything else, let's hop on and talk more about it.
Since I've already mounted the throttle, we can have the fairest kind of test over here, accelerating from still point without any pedaling from my side. A result which is excellent for the size of the motor. 3 grades of pedal assistance, with the third one being notably more powerful. The motor is flexible, well-tuned, accelerates very naturally thanks to the precise torque sensor input, very quiet at the same time, and apparently quite battery-savvy. Yeah, PVY promise you the crazy close to 250 km range per charge, something sounding hard to beat. However, this value is achieved in very perfect conditions, which we know city environment doesn't really comply with. But still, the available more than 20 ampere-hours, divided into 2 batteries, one in the frame and one inside the seat post, can deliver at least 80 to 100 kilometers, even if you use the most powerful grade of assistance. To put it in simple words, due to the light construction and the large battery pack, the range is significantly better than most fat tire e-bikes, and even surpasses by far what the mentioned Ado Air 20 series can deliver. So to me, this feels like the biggest difference between both. The rest of the components pack is also decent. Hydraulic disc brakes with power cut off, they react quickly and feel reliable all the time. I've used exactly the same model on 2 other bikes already and can only say positive things about them. There are 20-inch tires with 2.5-inch thickness. This softens a lot the riding experience. And this kind of experience is additionally improved by the front suspension, which, as mentioned, rather unimpressive if you have too high expectations. There's no way to lock or adjust it. You can lock some other components though. The battery and the seat post, which technically also contains a battery, both of the packs are rechargeable outside the bike. If you see a bike setup without a chain for the first time, having a carbon belt has quite many advantages and a very few disadvantages. Keeping the maintenance efforts close to none is important for a city bike. Being able to customize its performance, invaluable. Which leads us to the display. It's full of information, and yeah, might feel kind of familiar. The advanced menus of this one, however, have a lot more functions, and this is where you can also enable the Bluetooth unlock feature, so that you, and only you and your phone, can become the key to unlock the pedal assistance. Quite a nice idea. If you want some more customizations and information, such are available as well. PVY offer a unit similar to AirTags by Apple, and you can use the Find My Tag app in order to locate your bike. I hope that this kind of ecosystem is eventually going to grow into something even bigger. Before we wrap up, good to balance the point of view by listing the drawbacks. I already complained about the front fork, the lack of option with a derailleur. I think it's fair to be able to choose, the lack of height marks on the seat post, the mentioned initial issues around the motor and the controller, and I guess that's gonna be all about this time.
In the end, I'm kind of torn between the really nice to have features like the pretty awesome construction, the folding components, all these little goodies which are meant to make your overall user experience so much better with the PVY Libon, and you have close to 20 ampere hours worth of battery juice in a bike which weighs less than 20 kilograms. That's close to phenomenal, and I would say ultimately this could be the best foldable lightweight e-bike for the city. But at the same time, this condition with the motors, that was just a single unit with a failure. I was probably about to think that it's just mine. But having tried a second motor and a second controller and having experienced the very same condition, I'm either a very unlucky person or there's probably something not quite right with the current state of the motor. And hopefully by the time you watch this episode, that's all gonna be sorted out. If you decide to buy the bike, and by the way, there's a link in the video description area about it, go ahead and do it from a website where return policy is respected. Because at the moment I'm making the video, it's only available on Indiegogo, which is a crowdfunding platform, and not always the promises there are being delivered because you are backing a development project. So that's been everything I wanted to share with you in regard to PVY Libon, and overall I quite liked this electric bike, and as mentioned, kind of torn between the awesome nice to haves and the experience I had with the motor, but only time is going to show whether this is a very successful model or not. And you have been warned about everything that I felt with the Libon. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed and you find it useful, then probably you can give me a like, you can subscribe to the channel for more cool tech inspections. And I, Michael, the Tech Mishka, can't wait to see you in the next video. Stay safe, make sure to wear protection while riding, and I guess I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!